Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to review the Libratone Air Plus 2nd Gen True Wireless Earbuds. We have a lot to discuss, so let's see all the details right after the intro. Before we get into the review, I have to tell you that I got the earbuds from the manufacturer for testing, but I'm not getting paid for making this video, nor they had any input on what I'm going to say to you about their product. Onto the design of the buds, I love the different approach of the Danish audio brand. Both the earbuds and the case have a bit of an unusual but undeniably premium design, which did not only earn them a Red Dot Design Award for whatever it's worth, but it also gives the buds a unique character. The carry case is compact, it can easily slip into any pocket, it's well built, it looks sleek, and it supports the Qi wireless charging standard, but there are two other features which are my actual favorites. The first one is that little LED light around the USB-C port at the bottom, which lights up when you charge the case by either plugging in a cable or using a wireless charging pad. And you can also check the battery status by pressing the button on the back. The LED will blink either 1, 2 or 3 times depending on how much juice you have left in the case, and it will turn red when it runs low on battery. The same button can be used for pairing the buds as well. My second favorite feature is not this button of course, but it is the easy access to the buds when the lid is open. Other earbuds tend to sit deep in their case and sometimes I find it hard to take them out. But not with the Air Plus 2nd Gen buds. I can hardly imagine an easier way to grab your earbuds from a case. Maybe if the lid could open up a little further back, I could avoid bumping into it with my fingers on occasion. But I'm only nitpicking here. The lid is also a little bit too squeaky and it has a little play when closed, but at least its design makes it easy to pop it open even with one hand. And there is one more advantage of this design, and that's that due to the easy access, it's much easier to keep the charging pins clean, and most people do not even realize how important that could be in the long run. Now, onto the buds, they look great in both available colors, which are officially warm white and sapphire black. But I like to keep things simple, so let's just call the one I have here blue. The buds weigh in at around 5.5 grams each, they are small to medium sized, and I found them extremely comfortable to use for hours on end. We get an IP54 rating, which means a great level of protection against dust, sweat and splashes, and I also got a tight enough fit with the buds, so I was more than happy to use them for running. You can get 6 hours of use out of the buds on a single charge, and you can recharge them 3 additional times in the case, which gives you 24 hours of total playtime. And that's the maximum you can get out of the buds, but if you use the ANC at its strongest setting along with the aptX codec for example, that will probably drain the batteries even faster. That's not the best performance I've seen recently, but it's decent enough. And just another comment regarding the whole design thing. The Air Plus buds come in a box made of 100% biodegradable plant fibers, and all the accessories are neatly presented, which kind of reminds me of how Apple is doing the same, and it's all great, but I find the size of the box unnecessarily huge. I don't think that it will affect your everyday use of the buds in any way, but it kind of makes no sense for the whole package to be this big. But let's move on to the wireless connection. The Libratone Air Plus 2s come with a top-tier Qualcomm SoC, namely the QCC5141, which can offer you Bluetooth version 5.2, true wireless mirroring, and aptX support. Of course, you get your usual SBC and AAC audio codecs as well, but the aptX is only the regular version instead of the more advanced adaptive, even though the chip itself is compatible with that too. The true wireless mirroring tech provides you with the possibility to use the buds in mono mode both for phone calls and music listening, with seamless switching between the buds. There are no lip sync issues with movies, and I was happy with their performance when playing with mobile games too. As I said before, we get single bud mode and there is a multi-point use of some sort on offer here as well. Even though the buds cannot automatically switch between your connected devices, you can manually switch between up to 3 devices using only the touch controls on the buds. It works quite well and it is quick enough too, but having access to this feature comes with a price, which I'm going to talk about in a minute right after this quick phone call quality test. The dual mic setup on each bud can pick up my voice very clearly in a quiet environment, so you can expect great phone call quality with the Air Plus 2s. Turning on some ambient chatter on the speakers in front of me puts the noise filtering to the test, but I will say that my voice retains most of its clarity and the buds deliver a decent performance in terms of voice transmission quality. The touch controls on each bud work okay as far as their usability goes, but I'm not 100% satisfied with their functionality. All you have is the double and triple tap actions which you can use to control play, pause, volume, tracks, ambient modes, your voice assistant, and as I already mentioned, the connection switch as well. So if you want to have the option to switch between multiple connected devices easily, then all you have left is 3 more functions on the touch controls, which could be skipping to the next track, jump back to the previous one, and volume up maybe. No play pause, no voice assistant, no ambient modes, and no volume down in this case. And that's the price I was talking about in relation with the connection switch. Disabling this feature gives you only one more function on the touchpad, so that's not going to make that big of a difference either, but at least we got in-ear sensors on the buds, so the automatic play and pause can somewhat make up for the lack of the touch functions, but not entirely. And that's something I don't understand. Why there has to be such limitations in the software when the hardware in itself is capable of doing great things? Maybe functions can be added to the buds at some stage through a firmware update, so let's hope for the best. As for other features in the Libratone smartphone app, there is an EQ setting called Voicing. It only has 4 modes or presets. One is Smart or Auto, one is Neutral, which I use the most, and there is a bass and also a treble boost option. That's not much to work with, and you don't have any manual tweaking options either. Other than the EQ, you get an ear tip fit test and the usual product manuals, user guides, and firmware update options. So far it's not that impressive, as most of its rivals can offer a more comprehensive set of features in their app, such as Soundcore or LG, but there is one more feature I have not touched upon yet, and that's the ANC. And the active noise cancelling feature is one of the more interesting ones I've ever come across. First of all, it dampens external noises quite effectively, and it's on par with the best buds in the category in terms of actual active noise cancelling performance, but the rather low level of passive noise isolation I got from any of the tips I used kind of puts a cap on what the ANC can do overall in my ears. But what's really interesting is how the active noise cancelling works. First of all, you don't get an ANC off switch in the app. You have 3 modes instead: transparency, comfort, and adjustable. Transparency mode is not too intense nor it is too loud, but it sounds quite natural and handles wind noise well. There are no different hear-through levels, just one setting. The adjustable mode is kind of a manual ANC with different levels from 0 to 30, 30 being the strongest. 0 sounds very similar to transparency mode with a little bit less of those hums and rumbles getting through, so I would consider it ANC off, kind of. At the strongest setting, the ANC does a great job at keeping all distracting noises at bay, and there is a huge difference between 0 and 30, which makes me think that it's the seal I've got that limits the performance of the noise cancelling, and not the actual ANC itself, if that makes any sense. So the ANC in itself is good, but it's the comfort mode which impressed me the most. Is the first adaptive ANC mode, which shows actual signs of smartness. It can detect what environment you are in with such a high level of reliability I haven't seen before. The other day I was walking on the seaside, which tends to be windy, and as you can see, the ANC knew what was going on and adjusted itself accordingly. But when a huge truck just flew by when we were filming, the ANC switched to high noise environment mode instead, and that's when I said, okay, Libratone must be onto something here. I tried it at home and the ANC was steadily in quiet environment mode until I turned on some music, when it switched to high noise again. So the comfort mode is indeed smart, and this was the first time when I was happy to leave it to the ANC to do its job on its own without running into any issues. To compare it to one of its direct competitors, the LG tone-free FP9, the LG buds handle low-frequency rumbles better, while the Air Plus 2s block out a bit more of the higher pitch noises. I got a better overall ANC performance with the LG buds, but based on my tests, it's only due to the better seal I could get with the FP9. Turning the ANC up from 0 to maximum made a bigger difference on the Libratone than switching ANC on and off did on on the LG, but at the end of the day it couldn't make up for the lack of a perfect seal in my ears. I came to a very similar conclusion when comparing the Libratone buds to the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro, which has better noise filtering capabilities overall, but it's mainly due to their better passive isolation again. But all ears are different, so your mileage might vary with any of these buds. I also tried some memory foam tips I have at hand, but they didn't work quite well because they blocked the internal mic, which is located right next to the speakers, and that messed up the comfort mode, which worked so well with the default tips. So the ANC is good, the adaptive mode is the best I've used, but the ANC performance, as always, largely depends on the fit you can get with the buds in your ears. And now let's see what the second generation Libratone Air Plus earbuds and their 5.3mm dynamic drivers sound like. These are not the biggest drivers out there, but it did not stop Libratone from squeezing a delightful and spacious sound out of the buds. And spacious was the first thing that came to my mind when I started testing the buds, as the sound stage is well developed in all directions with a great stereo effect and instrument separation. Imaging is not quite as focused as some of the higher-end buds can deliver, but it's precise and all sounds are easy to locate in the space between your two ears, and sometimes these buds can even stretch the sound beyond the physical limitations of your head too. I got just enough bass to stop me from complaining about it, but I prefer this sound signature over any boominess anyway. If that is what you like though, then the extra bass profile in the app can bring you closer to your preferred sound. But I would only use the enhanced treble EQ preset for podcasts or movies, as it makes the sound way too bright and thin for my taste. I was using the neutral setting as I found it the most satisfying with most songs I was listening to during my tests, and the smart auto mode did not make much of a difference at all, to be honest. So I left it on neutral. And while I got just enough deep bass, there is quite an excessive amount of energy in the upper mids and lower treble regions. So vocals are not as warm or sweet as I would like them to be, but their clarity is more than okay. There are details in the highs and the mid-range comes through clearly as well, but the sound can become a bit shouty with certain songs. In comparison, the Soundcore Liberty 3 Pro can bring you more bass with a more recessed mid-range, and the high frequencies are more under control too. But while their sound is warmer, the space the Soundcore buds can create feels a bit more compressed. And even though the LG tone-free FP9 can come closer to the Libratone in terms of soundstage dimensions, they cannot really match the amount of details and energy we get in the mid-range and the treble with the Air Plus 2. Bass, however, is stronger on the LG, but similarly to the ANC, the reason here could simply be the less than perfect seal again, which can affect the bass response too. But even if that's the case, I pretty much enjoyed listening to music with the Air Plus 2s, as their spacious, kind of balanced, lifelike sound is a bit different than what most earbuds can deliver. And I started my review with stating that the Libratone Air Plus 2nd Gen earbuds are different in many ways than their competition. And in many cases, different means better. Their case design or the design of the earbuds themselves, their smart adaptive ANC mode, or the manual multi-connection switch are definitely unique. And we also get all the must-have features such as wireless charging, single bud mode and app support, but there are also some nice-to-haves such as the aptX support and the IP54 rating. If you need all this together and if their sound suits your taste, then you will be a very happy customer for sure. But if you are looking for more bass or limitless customization of your EQ or your touch controls, you will have to look somewhere else. These Libratone buds are truly premium, but their $200 price tag can easily be justified by someone who can appreciate something different than your average earbuds on the market. And this was my review of the Libratone Air Plus 2nd Gen True Wireless Earbuds. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Feel free to share your thoughts down below should you have any questions or comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.